when I seen all those guys there, and that's when I knew I was going to be a horse trainer. It did something to me. I remember it like it was yesterday. To progress with that horse, you always hear, and because it's so true, is great horses make great trainers. It's understandable. I mean, when you get a horse like that, I mean, it just elevates you and really makes you something you're not. When I was laying in the hospital, I was sick of the business. I was tired and just burnt out. When I'm laying in there in the hospital, I'm like, I really do still like riding and training horses. I don't want to quit. I'm laying there not sure if I'm going to be able to ride again. We cut it down in half and not let the business run our life. I still want to have some life outside of that show pen, I wasn't sure that I could have what I wanted, and be successful. But I knew that I knew that God had given me the talent, to do what I wanted to do.
Guys, welcome back to the 817 podcast. This week, I get to bring y'all my good friend Lee Francois. The guy's won over $4 million in the cutting pen. He's been reserve at the fraternity. He's won championships in the Will Rogers. Lee, how in the world are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Man,
good to be here.
Thanks for coming on. This has been a long time coming. You're one of the first people that I wanted to interview, and I'm excited to get to bring your story to the public.
Yeah. No, you might have to drag it out of me a little bit, but I'll help you as much as I can and reveal as much as I can that I can remember.
I love that. So now we won't hold this against you. You live in East Texas. But what is it, Murchison? How do you say it, Murchison?
Murchison. Yeah, the town folk call it Murchison. The rest of everybody else calls it Murchison.
Yeah, you got to say it with a little East Texas swing on there.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. So where were you born in Texas, or?
Actually, I was born in Charlotte, North Carolina. My dad was training a few horses back then, doing some horseshoeing, kind of a little everything. But I was born in Charlotte, North Carolina. Was there till I was 3, and then we moved back to Louisiana.
Yeah,
so I'm from Louisiana, but no, I actually was born in Charlotte.
In North Carolina.
Yeah,
but you're a Louisiana boy.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm more Texan now,
right,
than Louisiana, but definitely Cajun or coon ass, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So your dad, you grew up around horses your whole life, wasn't he? Didn't you tell me some stories? Y'all used to trade some mules and stuff back in the day too. He was into a little bit of everything.
Yeah, actually, I didn't start riding. I was kind of around horses until I was about, I think it was 10. When I was 10, that was maybe like 82. Dad was working in the oil field at that time, and then he quit, or the oil field just kind of
crashed.
Crashed. And so he started riding some horses, and then that's when I started, when I was 10. And he started riding he was doing some shoeing. He started back shoeing and riding a few. And so that's where I got started.
I'll be dang. So when did the interest in cutting come along? Or did you do any competition like growing up then?
Not too, up till, nothing till I was 10. And then when he started riding a few horses, I started riding. I had a bunch of family, cousins and all, pretty close to my age. So now when he started riding horses, we was cowboys then, and that was it right there. That was, I couldn't say I knew I was going to be a horse trainer then, but I was a cowboy. I wanted to be on a horse.
Yes, sir. That's awesome. Yeah. So, like your dad growing up, did you have to get under learn how to shoe them and stuff?
No, I never did get into it. Even of course now I wouldn't even attempt it. But even growing like older and training horses myself, I love the shoeing. Because I think them guys are awesome.
It is an art.
Yeah. But I never could get into it, and it just wasn't for me.
Right.
I just couldn't do it.
I tell you what, it's hard work.
Yeah, it is. I can pull a shoe off one, and it hurts my back.
You're out.
So I knew I didn't like that. I learned pretty quick I didn't like it.
Right. So in Louisiana, did you go through high school there all through Louisiana or?
No. So, living in Louisiana, all our families there and all that. So I guess I was, Dad started riding horses, oil field crashes. He started riding horses, shoeing. I'm 10 years old. Well, when I'm 12, we moved back to North Carolina, and Dad goes to work for a guy, training some horses. So we're there. I'm 12, I guess, 13. We're there for about a year. Then we moved close to Augusta, Georgia. And, and I went to high school close to Augusta in Georgia. So, and back then, the Augusta fraternity was like one of the big ones. It was the show. It was one of the shows. Yeah, and Buster, Welch, and I mean, all of the top guys were there. And I think the first time I seen it, I don't remember if I was 13 or I was 15, but when I seen all those guys there and seeing them, that's when I knew I was going to be a horse trainer, and I just seen that. It did something to me. And I remember it like it was yesterday, it's just like seeing them guys. And Kobe Wood, he used to tuck his pants in his boots all the time. I remember seeing him on, I think he was riding Cash Kill de Rio at that time, maybe, or close to it. But that was it. When I seen that, I always loved horses, but that's when when
you seen them guys,
yeah,
there was something different.
Yeah, it's just something, it just made me want it.
Cowboys are king, yeah. Especially back then.
Right. Well, and Buster Welch and Pete Branch was going strong. He still does. He still beats you, but
he sure can.
Yeah. But they was kind of going head to head. He was, it was just good to watch. And I remember seeing John Talbert, and
boy, he could get one.
Oh man, he was riding a horse like, I forget, a Clark's Hillbilly or something like that. And I was just like, I was amazed,
at what he could make one day.
Yeah, it was incredible. But yeah, that's what got me.
So Augusta, Georgia. So how long were y'all in Georgia? Or when did you move out here to start pursuing the cutting? Just shortly after that, or?
So that time, I think I was 13. Maybe the first time I showed in Augusta, I think I was 15. So I was going to high school. I started going to high school there in Thompson, Georgia, and I guess so. Dad he had planned a trip to go to the horse sale at King Ranch, and he wanted me to go with him. So I'm in the 10th grade at this time, and he wanted me to go with him. So I'm failing 10th grade. I'm failing high school. He says. So he looked at me. He says, "Well, you want to quit school and go to the sale with us? You're failing anyway." So he's like, "You're going to be a horse trainer anyway." So yeah, so I quit school and just to go to the King Ranch sale, and so yeah, went to high school there in close to Augusta till the 10th grade.
That's cool. And then, so what was the King Ranch sale like back then? Because I've seen so many pictures and heard so many stories. And is this when Buster was kind of riding them horses? Or
I don't think Buster was there, but T.O., he was there, yep. Running the sale and talking and all that. And, honestly, I don't remember much about it other than just seeing a bunch of, that land the way it is out there and seeing a whole lots of horses. And we ended up buying a few. Actually, Dad ended up buying one that he ended up selling to Floyd Epinep, and Floyd ended up third in the fraternity on a little peppy filly. So Dad was a pretty good hand. He just didn't get past that point, But
yes,
he did good at starting a horse.
Right. Man, that's awesome that y'all went to that sale and bought that filly, and then her ended up doing good. So you following and seeing that, I bet that probably sparked something in you too. That like, man,
seeing
we can do this.
Right, and and like being up there at King Red, just knowing Buster Welch and some of the history there, that definitely did something to me. I just, I just wanted to be a horse trainer.
So when did you work for anybody out here? I know you worked for Kobe Woods for a little bit, didn't you?
I was. I was 17, and I'm not even sure why I went to work for him. I think maybe Dad was low on horses or something. Wasn't ride very many. I don't remember why, but I went to work for Kobe Wood, and he lived in Bowie then, and we lived there. I went to work for him, and we was there about a month, and then we ended up moving to Stephenville, and I worked for him for about 8 or 9 months. I'm sure it was a lot harder on Kobe than it was me.
Well, I don't know. I know I've been around Kobe some. I'm sure he kept it a little strong on you too.
Yeah. Well, he probably needed to. Honestly though, if there's a lot of times I thought about it, and I wish I'd have been a little bit older
when you went.
When I went, because I could have learned so much more. My head was kind of. I'm 17. My head's in the clouds pretty much. I'm just glad I got to pick up what I did pick up.
Yes, sir.
From him.
So backing up a little, did you grow up a Christian or like with a faith-based bring up or?
Yeah, I did. When I was real little, my grandmother, she is a praying woman, good lady. I think my dad's got 5 or 6 brothers and a sister. There was like 8 or 9 of them total. She had a big family. So my grandmother, she was just a praying woman and a good lady, and she used to come by and pick us up and take us to Sunday school. And I grew up in church. You
grew up with a foundation.
Yeah. I knew who God was pretty early.
Yes, sir.
And I tell Holly this. I've told her this times, and I was a kid. I'm probably 4 years old. I got run over by a car when I was 3, I think. Broke my leg. Was in a body cast. How did we
skip that story?
Yeah.
Let's back that on up.
Yeah. So I think I'm 3 years old, 4 years old maybe. And me and my cousin, he's a year older than me, we walking down from our house to my grandmother's house. And for some reason, I decided to run out in front of this car, and or he pushed me. I don't remember, but he probably pushed me as mean as I was. But so I get hit, body cast, and
bad deal.
Yeah, in the hospital for a good while. But so I get going to Sunday school, and I don't remember if it was before that or after that I got run over by a car. But I'm around 4 years old, and I'm in Sunday school, and I remember God speaking to me. And that's crazy to think, and I probably don't remember everything exactly, but I do remember meeting God when I was 4 years old. Him basically introducing himself to me.
That's amazing.
Yeah, just introducing himself to me, and I just and ever since then, he's always been there. Oh my goodness, just every step of the way.
Yeah, even when you stray.
Yeah.
And isn't that amazing too? So So kudos to your grandma in Sunday school.
Yeah. Oh man, she was, she's the reason, just her prayers. There's no question, that, she's
bunch of them were answered.
That's why a lot of us are still here.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Wow. So that's amazing. I can only imagine being 4 years old, getting run over. But what a testimony to remember. God introducing himself into you at an early age like that.
Yeah. And that's why, I think, man, you try to talk to your children or young people, and are they getting it? Are they really, can you really relate to them? But, and I might have trouble doing that, but I'm going to tell you what, God knows how to talk to the children, your little girl, man, God knows how to talk to her, to where she can understand. I remember it just plain as I do now, just God talking to me.
Ain't that something?
Yeah.
Well, and two, just to speak on some other tragedies in your life, I know in 2019, I believe it was, right? When you got real sick, you had some brain trouble and give everybody a scare.
Yeah.
Let's dig into that and how faith, because I'm sure that had to be tough. There was probably times when you weren't sure. And how did you dig down? I mean, it had to have been faith, right?
Yeah. Absolutely faith, without no question about it. But, with, of course, having my wife, and family, and I'm sure we'll get into some of that, but just how God has used my family and my wife, through my life. Pretty amazing,
It is amazing.
Yeah. But, yeah, go ahead.
Well, listen, we all should have somebody. Luckily, I'm lucky like you are. I got a great wife, and you do too. And I think, or from what little I've lived, I've sure learned that, man, I felt like God give me my wife.
Yeah.
Because there's times that she should have left, and I couldn't have blamed her. But they're also the rock.
Yeah.
That brings us back, in my opinion.
Yeah.
My wife is very faithful and a believer, and man, I know I can get off the beaten path pretty quick, and she always brings me back. So I know how much Holly means to you there.
Yeah.
And when did you and Holly meet?
Let's see. We've been together.
That may have been a bad
we just
question.
had our anniversary. Yeah.
Sorry.
We just had our anniversary. It was 24 years, right? On the 3rd. Yeah, the 3rd was our anniversary. 23 years, 24 years. And, but we've been together 28 years, I think. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. So where would you have met her?
I was working in Athens, riding some horses for some people there, and she just happened to come by. Her and her sister was looking for a horse, and I said, "Well, I think I can probably help you out."
I might know a guy.
But anyway, I didn't sell her a horse, but I did ride it for her, and I only rode it for 3 months. I could have got a lot more out of that training, if I'd have wanted to. But I like, man, I think we probably should stop here. But he's a good horse, and she had her little riding horse. But anyway, we met at that ranch there in Athens, and and
the rest is history.
That was pretty much over then.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all have Sydney, and boy, what a blessing she is.
Yeah.
You can normally hear her before you see her. She's in the building. She always makes an appearance. I love it.
That's the truth. She's pretty incredible. She's married now, and they're doing really good, and we're proud of her. And we see God working in her life, and it's pretty amazing. It's the way each phase or level of life, man. It's all, you think, well, there may be nothing left to inspire you or help you or give you a motive, but God always has something else new for you, and with Sydney getting married and that's a new phase in life for us, and it's been pretty special. We really, Tanner, her husband, a great guy and
a great add to the family.
Yeah. So
I don't think I've seen him yet without a smile on his face.
Yeah. No,
like I thought Jesse Lennox was the only one made that way, but I think he's here to prove us wrong.
Yeah. No, good guy. So yeah, we're proud of him.
So back in 2011, let's talk about Raised Desire and how you got her and the journey. To me, that's where I remember I moved down here, and man, when I seen you showing Raised Desire, I thought, holy cow. And then I've always followed you since. So I would love to start the story with Raised Desire. And so are you and Holly already married?
Yes. Yeah.
And y'all have already been training. And
yeah, we built our place. I guess we built our barn in 2001 and covered arena. And when we did that, I had, I don't know, 5 or 6 horses in training. And we built the barn in place, and we're like, I don't know. I mean, I remember working horses and, hot, summertime, sweating and, riding some dinks, and I tell you, I remember God speaking to me and like, because I'd been putting forth the effort. And I believe a lot of people come to this place. It was like the thought came to me, okay, you're putting 100% in physically, but are you mentally? And man, if I was going to be honest with myself and get somewhere, I'm like, no, I'm not, because I knew I wasn't, because I had little habits working my horses that I wasn't working on. I was just kind of like, don't worry about it, So not until I answered that question did I really start becoming a horse trainer, is when I had to give 100% mentally, just like I was physically, or vice versa, it goes both ways. But mine was the mental part, so that's just.
So much of the sport and any sport is mental.
Yeah.
How did you redefine that and really buckle down? And
I just, basically just started working on the things I knew was causing me problems, and like letting my horse get a little flat on one side, or just any little thing, a little shoulder here or something. I had to start
specializing.
Yeah, I had to fine tune what I was doing, which, thankfully, and I believe, I've heard, on your podcast, I've heard guys say this all the time, several times, about how God lines things up. Well, I certainly believe that God got me to the place to where I was ready for Raised Desire, because any sooner,
here she came.
Yeah, any sooner, or maybe even later in my life or in my training, I might have messed her up, Because if any sooner I wouldn't been able to I wouldn't be ready to show her. Any later, I might have had my idea about training a horse different than what
she needed.
And thankfully, she needed what I was giving her. Whether it was right or not, it worked, and she was just an incredible horse. Yeah,
man, that's huge. You saying that, because I there's a lot to be said about that.
Yeah.
You getting the right horse at the right time.
At the right time, yeah.
And it's never really on our time, is it?
No, never is.
So when did you get Raised Desire?
So I guess she was a 3-year-old in 08, right? Or I showed her in 09 at the fraternity, yeah, because 10 left. So Gerald Alexander had her as a 2-year-old. He had her and another one for Dr. Bartlett, Woody, we call him, and he wants to sell one of them, and so I think Austin Shepherd comes and looks at one, and Gerald tells him that Raised Desire's a nice horse, but not going to work because she had stopped real big, couldn't move her front end. And so Austin never did get on her. He tried the other horse, balled it, I think. And so Gerald was like, well, you might as well y'all just send this one to Lee. And that's the first time I rode anything for Woody. And that mare was turning 3. And of course, after you ride one behind Gerald, your job's pretty easy.
I was going to bring that up because that's somebody that's not brought up enough. Yeah. I feel like in our industry, and I know he's passed on now, but boy, he left an impact on so many. Yeah,
incredible. And he's probably got more fraternity finalists and champions as a 2-year-old guy than anybody, I mean, it's just going over there and working with him, it's like, oh, wow, this is simple, I mean, it was just easy. And
it was amazing how simple he made things look on a horse.
Yeah.
I mean, every time I used to go when I was young and go over there and just look over the fence and watch and he was nice enough to let me bring some colts, and he had helped me, but it was always me doing too much and being in their way.
Yeah.
So that's awesome to hear. So when you got her, did you have a bunch of other 3-year-olds in, or had you had any success up to that point? Big success?
Actually, I was in 08. Or 7. I had made the fraternity finals in 07 on 2 horses. First time I made the fraternity finals was in 04 on Jazzy Pep Talk. The second time I had 2 horses in 07 that I showed, and then I was a reserve in the fraternity on Smart Kitty RG in 08.
That's the one I forgot about.
Yeah. And then 09, so then I get Raises Iron, and I show her in 09. I think I ended up like 6 on her in the fraternity. 08 reserve champion, I ended up losing that horse. And
that you just won reserve on.
Yeah, that was just one reserve on. I think I lost her in was it right after the BI? Because I think Boyd maybe ended up showing her at the Derby, made finals or something. I don't remember what happened then. So Raises Iron, that was the first one rode for Woody, and she kicked it off and got us going pretty good.
So then you come back on her in your 4-year-old year and won the Super Stakes.
Yeah.
What was that like to get your first win in there?
Yeah, well, that was...
I mean, I know you'd already been reserve and gotten close, but what's it feel? I've won the limited in there, and it's a different feeling, but what's it like to get one of the big ones?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty, obviously it was awesome, I mean, you're reading a chatter when you're a kid, and you see...
Your heroes,
guys. Yeah, you just want to, you want to get it done. But it was pretty incredible. I think that year too, we was sick bad. Like we had there were several of us had the stomach virus, and that night of the semis, I mean, I show and I'm like weak, and thankfully, as good as she was, it was just like if I could just get drove up and put my hand down, I felt
she'll
like
take care
of it. So we got through that, but coming out and winning that was, it's just a dream come true, just.
And then boy, what a mare she has been for you, for her babies and stuff. So I know after that you had the animal that was very, so many others too, but I mean, you won on the animal as well in there.
Yeah.
And that was your second championship in there.
Yeah, well, actually...
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, your third championship in there.
Yeah, so I won the 5 and 6 on Raises Iron the next year. And of course, that was different than the first time. The first time it was like overwhelming, and...
wow, I can't believe that just happened.
And then, but just to be able to progress with that horse, you always hear, and because it's so true, is great horses make great trainers. Well, it's understandable. I mean, when you get a horse like that, I mean, it just elevates you and really makes you something you're not, and
Yes, sir.
until you learn, and you ride a few of those good ones like that, and man, it sure changes.
So
how you,
in that journey with her, was it tough after you won that first championship on her at the following shows, with that pressure on you? Did you have pressure on you or?
Yeah. The pressure is intense, I mean, just, cause you got a horse now, you did good.
Now there's expectations.
You're supposed to be in the finals, you're supposed to do good. But I was nervous every time I walked to the herd. It didn't matter if I went to a weekend show, tuning or not, I was still nervous showing that mare. So yeah, it got tough, but she was just good. If I could just get drove up, then, and didn't do something stupid and miss a cut or something, then she handled it, She was just that way.
Wow.
Just wanted to help,
Yes, sir. So, and then after her, whenever y'all retired her and started breeding, what did your program look like then? I mean, I know when I was getting into it, boy, you had lots of amateurs. You were doing lots of coaching, and you were still winning in the open and stuff. But talk about how hard that is sometimes too, when you're running a big barn like that, and how much pressure that is.
Yeah. I think I probably had more pressure maybe on me, because of the business, but also I was preaching too, at that time. And so I was battling spiritual things as well,
Yes, sir.
And then the business, and it was tough, man. A lot. It was a lot, and Holly's, she's a preacher's wife, so it's, dealing with my ups and downs, I know had to be hard and tough. I know it was. We talked about it. But yeah, just the whole amateur thing, and the people I had, they were good people, but
absolutely,
it started wearing on me, and just the stress of it, and all this leading up to my hospital visit 19. I'm not sure what caused that, but it was just a lot of stress and spiritual oppression, dealing with some depression, so yeah, it was very tough. Not so much just the business, but just everything. It was hard.
Which that's huge to hear, because some people don't believe, you're sitting here, you were preaching, and the devil's attacking you just as hard. And I've always said, the devil ain't going after the lost. He's already got he ain't riding through his pens. He's going through his neighbor's pens.
Yeah. I struggled, man, with, and I almost quit. I didn't almost quit, but me and Holly talked about it, and I thought about not showing anymore, just so I could stay home and be in the ministry at my home church. And so that was a battle I dealt with quite a bit, until finally one weekend we was going to go to a show on a Sunday in Sulphur Springs, and I was like, man, I really'd like to be there at church for my pastor, because now I understand when you're preaching and doing stuff, you need some backup, you need somebody to be behind you. And so I hated it when I wasn't there. So we decide, okay, we're going to go to this show on Sunday. Well, okay, so since I'm going, we're going to have a little service. And we did, and I'm going to tell you what, after that service, there was no doubt that what God wanted me to do, or where he wanted me to be, because we had not a great message. Wasn't like it was a big message or anything, but we just had a circle there, and you could just feel the power of God. And I just knew, okay, I can quit fighting that battle.
He put me here.
Yeah, he put me here and give me the, enough talent to be competitive. So, that was, so getting to that point, that helped a lot. Eased a lot of pressure. Took a lot of pressure.
That was a good breakthrough moment right there. Yeah. And what's it like to start preaching? I mean, I know that's got to be hard too. I'm by no means a preacher and don't claim to be, but I know studying and stuff. And then like Joe Howard will ask if I'll pray or something, or hey, start church. And it's funny how it wears on me sometimes, because I'm like, man, I don't think I'm the guy. But then it's funny how he'll speak to you and put something in your lap. Yeah, right. I guess being the guy doesn't mean you got to be, doesn't mean you're perfect, It just means you're willing, And so God's going to use who's willing, not who's perfect. And, and that's, so talking about the preaching, that's what was tough on me, man, is because I hate it. I still do, but I hate making mistakes. And if you're going to get better at anything, guess what? You're going to make mistakes. It don't matter if it's preaching, podcasting, training horses, or what. If you're going to get better, you're going to make mistakes, and you're going to have to deal with them. So making mistakes, preaching, man. Plus, I'm not a upfront kind of guy, I can sit in the back of the crowd and be totally fine. I don't need to be in the spotlight. So standing up, getting to where I'm, first off, know what I'm talking about, and then trying to deliver a message that'll help somebody, and then being in front of people, it's tough, but I felt like, I had to do it and I had to overcome it because I felt like that's what God wanted me to do. So I had no excuses, I get embarrassed, I make mistakes, but So what? Got to go on, do it anyway. That's pretty cool. Well, and you're always a guy that I love to talk to at the cuttings, because you're more of it's pretty cool that a lot of guys in our industry, we have what's the right word? It's so easy for us to get to talk to our heroes and get mentored by them, and it's just like, you've never let me down on something that I asked about, whether it was spiritual or competitiveness. Yeah. And man, I always have appreciated you for that. And I see you do it to other people too, not just me, but, I think that's what's awesome. And I think that's seriously something God's called you to do, is be a teacher, because you are great at it. Yeah. I remember, last year when we was hauling, especially like at Outback, we got a chance to visit there, and, that's, you never know how much you're going to help somebody. But just talking to you that day there, a couple of days there at Outback, and I'm tired and weary, and trying to reach the end of the year, and you are too, but I don't know, just something about our conversation, it's just like, it's cool to have that, that camaraderie, cause man, we need it. We need help. We need help. Yes, sir.
You never know what you say is how it's going to help somebody and encourage somebody else to take another step,
Yes, sir. Well, and that's what I've always admired in you, because just like that, you saying you never know what word you're going to say or what action you're going to do that's going to help somebody or hurt them. Yeah. And to me, I feel like you've always been so consistent with being the guy that, well, I mean, listen, you've had a lot of tragedy strike, especially the last several years. Yeah. It just seems like, man, I want to come help you and fight for you, because it's like, why you almost want to ask, why is this happening to my friend does have a heart of gold, and he's sitting here trying to give. And just like in 2019, your hospital visit, why did that happen?
Yeah. But
now it's so cool to see for me, an outsider. I don't know if you feel this way, but it's almost like, man, you were down here, but then, man, when you get the glory and the shine and you give it to him, it's such a message to the world that, I mean, and y'all's house burnt down shortly after all that. Like, how had you bounced? I mean,
that was tough. So, like what you was talking about earlier is you're not the guy. You don't feel like you're the guy that God should be using, or at that point, you know what you was saying a while ago. You know, at that time, I was preaching. You know, I'm not a good reader, but I'm trying to read my Bible. You know, and I'm trying to spend time in prayer and, you know, actual, like, get on my knees and pray. You know, I pray all day. I don't talk to God all day, but just to actually take that time. And I was really focusing and trying to do that, and I end up in the hospital, and then my house burns. You know, so just because you're crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's, you know,
doesn't mean the real world ain't after you.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you're the guy. And nor, if you're not doing everything just right, it doesn't mean you're not the guy. You know, I feel like when I was doing all of that, okay, so why did it happen? I don't know, but it did. And so my point is, I'm not going to be too worried when I fall short, you know, because God's going to be there to pick me up. Because I was doing everything. I could have done better, yes, but felt like I was doing everything that God wanted me to do, and look where I ended up. So you see, it really don't have nothing to do with it. It's just, are you willing? You know, if God needs somebody, are you willing? You don't have to be perfect, or whether you are or not, it doesn't really matter. It's just the willing part, you know.
Man, that's such a strong word.
So I'm just glad at that point in my life I was willing, but, you know, through the hospital deal there was some tough times, but I think the house burning was probably as tough as anything. You know, it's just.
You lose everything basically.
Yeah, it's all. You just watching it all go up in smoke, you know,
but then you realize it's all replaceable.
yeah, and that was. You know, our faith and our relationship, you know, got us through that, because we lived in our horse trailer for a year and a half, you know, in the living quarters, and you know, just getting through all of that and building a house, and that was some tough times, which made it real easy to haul for the world, because I didn't have no house, so you just get in your trailer.
Were used to living. You were used to being in that trailer.
We just hook up and go, you know. We had everything in there.
Shout out Cowboy Trailer Sales. If you need a living quarters or horse trailer, head on over to Weatherford. Cowboy Trailer Sales. Jim Kyle, hit him up. The man will set you up.
Yeah, you can live in them for a couple of years.
But now y'all got a new house.
Got a new house, yep.
On the same place that y'all built in 2001.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool to look back now. Yeah. When you said you started with 4 or 5 horses.
Yeah.
And built that barn, you're like, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah.
And now how many championships and reserve championships have you brought out of that?
Well, so Holly's funny story is that when we first built that, her dad, cowman, you know, so he's looking around at this barn and he's like, yeah, we sure, this don't work out. We sure put a lot of hay in here. So he was a little skeptical, but
make sure the old son-in-law got to work out there.
Yeah. But I eventually won him over. So
I was about to say, I bet he's fine with you now.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. Well, I remember you were talking about us talking back at Outback, and last year was such a fun race. And gosh, you were terrible to get around on that horse. I ain't gonna lie, but
till the finals, you got me pretty good at the finals.
Well,
you
listen,
had an awesome show.
If it wasn't for you and your help there at the end, because I hit a lull, and it was so mental, you know, and there at that Outback show, you helped me, and I remember at the finals when it played out like it did, and you know, kudos to Cass, he was tough to beat all year, and he dang sure didn't stop at the finals. You know, he put the pressure on us, but I am glad we put the pressure back on him, because what it come down to few $100. I mean, basically
$462. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane. I can't remember in my time it ever coming that close. But it was pretty cool, because I remember that night, obviously y'all wanted to win and stuff, but to me, I felt like y'all did win. And then when you, and not taking away from Cass,
right?
But to me, like your message and your faith and stuff. And then when you was reserve at the futurity, I told Shy, I've always looked up to you so much that I'm like, man, Lee is the guy. He is second, you know, and I felt like you've always put yourself second. Yeah. And to me, there's a huge message behind that. And just like you said, with the house burning down and the hospital visits and your faith and you being second and putting God first and having a great family to be there with you. Yeah. That's how you don't worry about those times anymore.
Yeah. No, you know, I mean, I couldn't imagine, you know, not having God to lean on, and then not having you know, my wife and to, you know, there for me. I mean, you know, laying there in the hospital, you know, and wondering if I'm going to be able to ride a horse again or not, you know, and what's life going to look like when I'm out of the hospital, because I had a brain lesion, but they couldn't tell me, you know, what I was going to be doing next month, you know, if I was going to be walking around, because I couldn't walk the length of this table without holding on to it, you know. It just, it was
scary
crazy.
times.
Yeah. So, I mean, sure enough, wasn't sure I was going to be able to ride a horse. But, you know, getting home from the hospital, and I laid in the house for a month, you know, and Holly and actually Clay Carter was working for us at the time, and they was riding horses, and she'd bring one over to the house. This was after like a month, and I'd step on it and I'd get real dizzy and I'd have to get off, you know, and just started back like that. You know, I remember the first couple of times I showed was probably like September, October, maybe. So that was in June, July, when I went to the hospital. So like September, October, went to a show in Belton. What was your horse name? Metallic. What was his name?
I remember Dulray. Metallic Dulray.
Yeah, Metallic Dulray.
He's still, he's still winning in the Open. In
Money
fact,
still owes me money on that horse.
He does. Here, I'll make sure and get it for us. Monty, if you don't mind.
Yeah, Monty. But we go to Belton, and I show him, and I cut my first cow, and it's like, this horse, he's good, you know, no problem. But I have to quit my first cow because I got dizzy, and, you know, I just couldn't. Just my heart rate got up, I'd get dizzy, man, and I had to quit and walk out. And I think I did that maybe, I think I only showed one time that weekend, that was it. And then we went back again, got to my second cow, got dizzy, had to quit. So it was a slow process just building back, man. And I really had to learn how to train a horse all over again. You know, I mean, I knew the basics and could ride and had motor skills, but like, it just didn't feel the same. You know, things were just different. And now looking back, I'm like, there's no question that was the best thing ever happened to me in my life, is for that to happen, because I think God used that to do to change a lot in me,
Little wake-up call.
Yeah, plus, taking away the depression and the confusion that I had about spiritual things, and it was pretty amazing. I would
very humbling.
Yeah, I'd go through it again if I had to get to this point, because it's like we live in peace now, and I do. Holly was fine, other than dealing with me, but just having the peace that I have now is just because of that. And yeah, I know exactly what's important now.
Yes, sir.
I'm not confused a bit about what I need to do, or what's really, what do I need to cling to in life? What's going to be my number one thing? Obviously it's God, but under that, it's, first is my relationship with my wife. That's the number one priority. And after that, just put things in order. But
man, that's awesome to hear, especially for all of us young couples out there, because it's something that's not talked about much, but our industry is tough on relationships, and sometimes the work and the grind really overshadows taking time and understanding the true meaning of that. So that's awesome. You spoke on that. Yeah.
Well, like we was talking about earlier about having, a big business. And man, after that, I guess it was about a year after that, we cut it down in half. And I'd keep around 40 to 50 horses, cut it down in half, and which is hard to do, but and then that's why we never did it before that. But after my hospital visit, it's like, we had no matter what.
There's no choice.
Yeah, we're cutting down. Yeah, we got to. And, and for me, there's nothing. When I was laying in the hospital, I was sick of the business. I was tired and just burnt out. Well, when I'm laying in there in the hospital, I'm like, I really do still like riding and training horses. I don't want to quit.
That fire started building back.
Yeah, because I'm laying there not sure if I'm going to be able to ride again, because the doctors ain't telling you nothing. They don't know. So I'm like, I really do like it. So I'm going to go about it a little different way. And we cut it down in half and not let the business run our life,
Y'all run the business.
Yeah, run the business. I still want to have some life outside of that show pen,
Yes, sir.
So that's it. Definitely put things in perspective.
Guys, I'm going to stop here and tell y'all a little bit about MJ Balm. MJ Balm has a variety of products, from topical balm to equine poultice, that help you and your horse with pain, anxiety, and focus. These products are made with natural ingredients, so you can feel confident in what you are using on yourself and the amazing equine athletes that we all love. I personally use her products on my horses and have loved the results I've got. So if you haven't checked out MJ Balm, make sure to hit Missy Jean up. She's one of us. She loves her horses, and she loves making this product as cheap and affordable as she can for the people that love that equine athletes as much as she does. So y'all head on over to MJ Balm and check it out.
Yeah, this is a year later after the hospital visit. A year later, we're getting ready to go to the Derby, Summer Spectacular. I'm outside working horses, and we're supposed to leave on this day. So I'm outside working horses. I come back in. I come through the door, and I just sit down on this stool we got there, and I'm done. I'm wiped out. I'm depressed. I'm terrible. I don't have no energy, and I'm kind of heavy, heavier than I should have been, or I gained weight. I was sitting there and Holly's getting ready, and I tell her, I said, hey, you need to go pray, and I wasn't telling her she needed to pray. I said, she needed to go pray for me, or something's happened. I don't know what's going on, but I'm just bad depressed. So she goes back. I leave. I go back outside, and she goes in there and prays. Well, God speaks to her, And so funny thing about that is I had always prayed that, Lord, I pray that you give Holly an experience with you, and, because I'm praying for my wife. I want her to know God, and I feel like I know him. Turns out her relationship was much more pure than mine was. I found that out, but with him. But so she goes and prays. Well, God speaks to her, and he tells her, hey, you got the same spirit that I have that's in me. He's telling her that she has that same spirit. And I can't remember what, he told her, I'm never going to reach the people I want to reach as long as I'm fighting this religious spirit. And I'm like floored then, because I'm trying to be just a regular guy. I don't like religion at all. I love God, that relationship with him, but religious stuff I don't care about. And funny thing is, I always knew that was kind of hanging around, but I just tried to push it away, and because it makes you judgmental for one thing. Well, anyway, so we go. Oh, did he say something else? So we to go into the Derby that year, and we end up preaching, and I'm preaching. Well, I'll get her to come up, and she speaks with me, and we do it together. And it's and it was one of the. And after that point is when everything changed for me. That's when that depression left. Because I quit fighting that religious spirit, and then we, that's when we started losing weight. We just started eating better. It changed our whole life. It's just
that's amazing.
Yeah.
And what I think's amazing is how you asked her to pray for you, and then he spoke to you.
Yeah. So
that's deep.
Because I'd been asking God, hey, I want Holly to have an experience with you. Well, it turns out she does, and the experience she has with God is healing me. You see that?
Absolutely.
I'm praying for her to have an experience with him, and he uses her to make me
fix
better.
You.
Yeah, to fix me. It's like,
wow.
You just can't make that up.
You can't make that up.
And then I had to, and then I realized that I was looking at her like I was superior in my walk with God when I really wasn't, and I'm not. Where none of us are. She's got the same spirit.
When really that's what you were fighting with the religion side of things anyway.
It's trying not to be that way, but yet you find yourself being that way.
And you didn't even realize it until...
Don't even realize it till you end up in the hospital, and God shows you a different perspective on things, and that's when that's when I changed, and we started going to get our hormones checked, and I started doing that testosterone, and started losing weight, and but it come from the depression and the spiritual confusion, and fighting that religiousness. But when I quit all that, oh, man, my life just changed totally. I'm a different person.
Yes, sir. Doubt. Well, and depression, that can be... Yeah,
it's tough, man.
It's a serious thing.
Yeah, very serious. And it's a spirit, it's a spirit that, that'll come hang around you. Just one morning you wake up and you're depressed. You don't know why. You'd be all right for a few days. One little thing sets you off, and just depression just attacks you, and it's difficult. And I don't wish that on anybody, but.
So what would you say for people that are fighting depression?
that's the hard thing is I don't know how to tell somebody other than, hey, you need deliverance, but and you need, God, you got to get God to help you. But it was almost like the hospital visit. It's like, if this is depression, God's trying to take you from me, but I won't let it go, And so the hospital was just like him just ripping it out of my hand because I wouldn't let it go. I didn't know how. I didn't know how to open my hand.
He had to take it away from you.
So he had to just, rip it out of my hands, And
that meant shutting everything down.
Yeah, and the religiousness and that all that confusion and stuff. I was just, he had to get me to a place to where I just had to stop, so he could deal with me, And I'm not saying God calls that. I don't really believe that God does that. But it was going to happen, so God used it for good,
Yes, sir.
And so the verse that a lot of, we all quote is everything that, for God, if you love God, everything that happens is going to work out for good. I believe that totally, If you stick with him, through our house burning and, the hospital deal and, me getting run over by a car when I was 3, and I got car wrecked when I was 21, I think, and flighted, both lungs punctured, and broke ribs. I mean, that's crazy. But, if you keep your eyes on the center there, and somehow things tend to work out.
Man, that's huge. So, 21. So that was a bad wreck too.
Yeah, I was 20. I think I was 21, 22, and turned and did a U-turn in the road. Didn't see this guy coming, and he just hit me right behind my door, driver's side door.
Ooh.
I didn't even know I got hit. It was flighted and both lungs punctured, and tubes in my lungs, and broke some ribs and stuff.
So how was that at that young of an age to have that happen when you come to in the hospital? And I bet that was an eye opener as well, a little bit.
Yeah, it's been so long ago, I don't really remember. I just remember then I was sure in a hurry to get back on a horse. I was eat up with it, and I just remember wanting, trying to get healed up and
Did
get back on a horse.
Did that keep you down for a while though? That wreck?
It was like I think it was a month. I was out about a month.
That's pretty good. That's pretty quick, Lee. Yeah. Probably a little sooner than they wanted.
Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, man, I don't know. I just, somebody dealing with something, it's hard because I just didn't know how to let go of things,
Yes, sir.
And I've learned some of that now, and it makes life easier.
So I love how earlier you said, in your prayer time, like you actually get on your knees and spend time with the Lord.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing to me. And I don't spend enough time. I sure spend a lot more time than I used to and try harder now, but it's amazing what things start changing when you do spend that time and
yeah.
And just like you said, turning it over to him, really. I mean, letting go of that. Yeah. Let him have that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's been one of the hardest things is because I feel like we go to church and we get a lot of preaching and a lot of teaching, but how do we apply that to real life, everyday life, because it's more to it than just pray for it and give it to God, I mean, how do I apply what I'm learning to make me better? And
how do I walk the walk?
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I feel like I'm walking, but I was like, man, I feel like I'm doing it myself, and, need some guidance.
And that's a huge thing, that religious pressure, especially in today's world. Like there's so many different religions.
Oh, and my goodness. Yeah.
That's where I love when Joe Howard says, they're not preaching out of this book.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's not in this book, don't be listening.
That's right. That's right.
And it's amazing what that book says.
Yeah.
And how it's right. And if you really read and study it, what's going on in the world today, it's an eye opener.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of my growing up, you know, in the church was in, is like it was, you know, the religious side of it was like no career, just stay home church, you know. So I was confused about that, about having a career and you know, realizing that it's okay. God wants me to have a career and be successful, you know. And so that was hard for me to kind of wrap my head around, because it's I guess just what I grew up with, you know. And at an early age, it just, I don't know, it was hard for me to see that.
Well, I think we all, even me growing up in the church I grew up in, I mean, that I can see where that would be confusing, but then also to see what you've done, that's, I personally believe that's not man-made. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously your talents are, but your gift was given from a higher up, you know?
Yeah. No, man, I look back and just out of everything. And I'm going to tell you, if I can be successful, anybody can, man, because it's just like, you know, I hate to say this, but, you know, my dad never finished anything, never had any kind of career. You know, he'd work. As soon as he got hard, he'd quit, you know. And so I grew up with that kind of mentality, not mentality, but that kind of raising. But the funny thing is I wasn't sure that I could have what I wanted, you know, and be successful. But I knew that I knew that God had given me the talent, you know, to do what I wanted to do. And not saying I'm super talented. I'm just saying I knew what God was pointing me towards. But I still, man, it was like, yeah, but you can't have it. You know, yeah, but you can't be successful just because of, I guess, how my dad was, you know. And just,
yes, sir.
It was hard.
When really he give you the talent to share your message.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, to me.
Yeah. That was apparent when that show we was talking about. I went to Sulphur Springs, and I'd been preaching a lot before that, but it was just like I was coming to a place to where I needed something to change, you know, one way or the other. And I needed to know for sure. And
the Holy Spirit showed up.
Yeah, he showed me. Yeah. And not that I have to, and I haven't preached in a good while. But I feel like we minister in other ways, you know, and
absolutely.
You know, so that's where I'm at right now. It's just trying to be a friend to somebody, you know, and
yes, sir.
Witness to somebody that needs it.
And a bright light.
Yeah, trying to keep her with me. She'd be the bright light, and I'll stand in the shadow.
Be the shadow that follows closely behind.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't follow that far behind tonight in the stockyards. I would definitely stay close.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would definitely stay close.
I know. She'd get loose on me. She'd get on that dance floor and get loose.
Yep. Yeah, now you are going to, do you bring his machine to check his vitals and stuff if y'all go dancing tonight? We don't want him to, we don't need any more hospital visits.
Yeah. No, my vitals is good. They've been tested.
Okay, good. That's so awesome. Well, y'all did hear it here. If something does happen to Lee, he's signing a deal that Jeremy, I will show sister at the BI. Anyways,
that's awesome.
That's so awesome, man. Well, I can't thank you enough for coming, Lee.
Yeah, thank you,
I can't wait for this to drop and people to hear this. I know that you're one guy that, this is funny. I know I talked to you a long time ago about doing it, but I've had several people ask, have you done Lee Francois yet? And I'm like, well, yeah, and you're a humble person. So, I mean, really, I could show you, you would be like amazed at how many people ask. And Well, it's just a neat story. I mean, it truly is. It's a testimony. It's not a story.
Yeah.
And the faith behind everything that he's put you through, and for you to be okay with it, and now know that, hey, no matter what's thrown in my road, it's going to be all right.
Yeah.
Because the vision is there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm very thankful, man. And I tell you, I feel like our marriage was tried at that time, and our faith and our marriage, and it's funny. I believe God warned me, that your marriage is going to be tested, and I do believe that God gives us what we need, if we're listening. He'll tell us what we need, what's coming around the corner sometimes if we'll listen. And I'm just thankful that I'm where I'm at now, and more so in my marriage, my relationship, just in life in general. Not so much just the cutting. Which I love that, and it's always been a dream, but to be successful. But I'm just very thankful for where I'm at just in life.
Well, that's awesome, because you can feel the peace and see it when you come into a room, and I'm just thankful to be friends.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's cool to how much faith your family had during that time. I remember when you were in the hospital, and it also speaks a lot on our community, because I remember Joe Howard, and I mean, we had prayer time for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like you speaking about your grandmother and those prayers working, I'm with you. Them prayers work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And two, just the faith that your wife and everybody had that, hey, you know what? He may be in the house this month, but he's coming back out, and her leading the horse up there. And
get back out.
Come on, sweetie. Let me help you on.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You all right? Looking out the door. You all right? But, man, the community, our community, the horse, all of the horse people, just, through that and the house burning, man, people were great. They just coming out of the woodworks to try to help you, and just, it really is a great community, and just the family, the Cutting Horse family, is some really good people.
We talked a little bit about you showing preachers drinking again and stuff, and talking about the community and our owners and stuff. How cool was the other night, Holly getting to show that horse, and Leslin being there, and I've gotten to know her over last year, and she's just always been a joy to be around, and a fun competitor. Like, I'll never forget. I'm trying to think where we were at, but she always would wish me good luck, and she would say something like, I hope Lee gets you, but good luck. Hope you're second. And I thought that was always so awesome, because I'm like, that's just honest, black and white. Yeah. Hey, good luck, but guess what? We're coming for you. Yeah. And boy, she gets excited, and she loves them horses, doesn't she? Oh
yeah, she's all about it, and she waited all her life to get to where she could have time, and and the means to learn how to ride a cutting horse. And so when she seen Preacher, 3 years ago, and like she wanted her a world champion, so that's kind of where that got started. And she's great, Rock and Diamond, it's her ranch, and we're very thankful that she let us, first of all, buying the horse and then letting me keep it and show it, and like I've been able to do, it's been instrumental in getting me back to being competitive.
Yes, sir.
In the hauling, and I'd say that for anybody. If anybody's got any thoughts about hauling, if you should or not, I think you should.
Yes, sir.
Because it's incredible what it does for your show and then your preparation, just the whole deal.
Your whole outlook on the industry, really.
It really does. And I gained respect for not only for my horse, but horses that haul in general, especially some done it several
year in, year out.
And plus the guys and gals that, Mary Jo, but, and the trainers and that's hauled and won the world and done it. And I've gained new respect, just a new perspective. And, so that's been awesome. But to see Holly get to show this horse is pretty cool because it was her horse to begin with.
Exactly.
So she got the chance to show him again.
In the celebrity cutting.
Yeah.
And then come out victorious. Not just by a little bit either.
Yeah. No, it was pretty cool. It was fun being able to back her up, after all the times.
Since she's been in your corner so many times.
Yeah, she's backed me up so many times and helped me win. It was good it was really good
just
to
the
see
feeling, getting to turn back that night and to see your reaction. For one, she was smiling and almost crying. Like she said, the waterworks were coming, but it was almost through a smile on her last cow where she's sitting there working it. And it was like, holy crap, this is happening. And then to see the peace, it was fun. I wish somebody could capture that moment of you in the corner because we've been in the corner for each other on a lot of big runs, and that can be a nerve-wracking spot. And the peace that I seen over you at that moment and the happiness, that was a pretty cool moment.
Well, it was funny, so she cuts her first cow and she's walking down, and I'm nervous, and because I think I'm feeling like, I know she's nervous. And then she's riding Preacher. So, I just want her to get a chance to get up there and just have some fun. So she cuts her first cow and goes good. It's all good. But I'm still nervous when she cuts her second cow. I can tell, she's enjoying it and the horse starts working well. I could see her just really relax. And it just made me relax. And I just kind of let down and relaxed. And she just worked it. Felt like she could have worked that cow forever.
Another 2 days. Exactly.
Yeah. But it was, just to see her relax, it made me relax and took some of the.
Got to really enjoy the moment.
Yeah. I got to enjoy it and watch her and have a good time and enjoy herself. She hadn't had a show horse. She hadn't had one to be able to show one that good
since Monty stole that one.
Monty stole that one from me. But just to see her be able to, just to do that, it was good. It was really good.
So, and then you and Jeremy, y'all own the sister to Preacher's Drinking Again. That you were reserve on at the fraternity. And let's talk a little bit about that. You and Jeremy have been partners and friends for a long time, and I felt like have done a lot of good things in business through the works. Let's talk about how instrumental he's almost brought up in every podcast, and which I think's its own testimony in itself. For somebody that is whether it been through Western Bloodstock or before he had that and was a trainer, but he's helped our industry so much and changed it really. What's he been like to have as a friend and a business partner?
Yeah, man, he's been awesome. He slept on the floor in the hospital, when I was in there. So, first off, he's been that kind of friend, so, and then I tell you something too, we won 350 something thousand at the fraternity on her horse, his sister, and he knows what the hauling game's like. He knows what the business is like. So he tells us after the fraternity, he's like, look, I know you've been hauling. Your string of horses. You're not gonna have a big string of horses And he said, if you need some help till you get them built back up, he said, let me know, I'll help you. You know, so that's just the kind of guy he is, and he's been kind of friend he's been for us. He, you know, he knew I didn't have, you know, I was from the Holland, short on outside horses, and he's like, you know, I'm here if you need some help, you know. So that's kind of friend
it
he's
means
been
it
to
too.
us. Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, and, you know, I mean, there's several other guys, you know, you had one on this podcast and talked about him and how he had helped him. And, you know, another guy, my buddy Wes Ashlock, he's, you know, he'll tell you the same thing, you know. He's just been a good friend to us.
Yes, sir.
And helped us out.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Well, and it's special that did y'all meet through cutting horses in the industry, or?
Yeah. I think the first time I'd seen him, we was in decab showing at Storky Smith's place, and he showed up there, and he just started showing dual Remy. He was like showing him in the novices and stuff. Yeah. So
That horse didn't suck.
No, that was pretty good. That horse was pretty good. But yeah, he was just novice in him, and that horse looked like a, you know, kind of like a green 5-year-old. You know, he wasn't grown yet,
Right.
You know,
Do some things that you kind of caught your eye, but then
he was good. But man, that next year he was a different horse. He was white as this table.
Jeremy went home.
Yeah,
and specialized on that craft.
Yeah,
Came back for blood.
Yeah.
And for a lot of years after that.
Yeah, that horse was incredible.
Yeah, I think he's still alive, isn't he?
No, I think
Did he die?
Yeah, they put him to sleep.
Oh, did they?
Maybe a couple of years ago.
Oh, really? But he was old.
Yeah, he had some.
I remember they kept him out there in one of them beautiful pastures, and I know anytime we dropped a mare off or something over there, that he was always over there. I thought, man, what a horse!
Yeah.
So what's the future look like for Lee Francois cutting horses?
You know, I mean, I don't know that I have big plans, or I mean, I want to keep showing and winning and trying. I love training horses. I love training horses. I like showing horses, you know. So, but we're gonna keep showing and keep going, and you know, I'm not too caught up in what's ahead, because I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. You know, I'm comfortable. I like my horse training. You know, I want to be passionate about what I do, because I do believe our work is part of our worship towards God. So how we approach our work, you know, means something to God, because He's given us the ability to do what we do. So we should do that with gladness, you know, and do it towards Him. But as outside of that, doing my job and being passionate about it, I'm happy, man. My home life is my peace, you know. You know, my wife, my marriage, it's, you know, the relationship we have, I really don't need anything, you know. I want to win, and I'm going to work hard to win, but it's not going to be what makes everything all right for me, you know.
Yes, sir.
If I don't win, I'm still pretty dang happy.
You're still the same guy.
Yeah. I'll be mad for a minute. I was a little bit mad at myself at the Super Stakes. You know, I missed them finals, you know, but, you know,
it was
it's
a tough
not like
Super Stakes.
Yeah, it was. It was a good show, but it's not as hard on me as it used to be. Used to, man, it would just crush me, and I'd be mad till I went and showed again, you know. And
yes, sir.
Now I can, you know, it's all good. I got things in perspective, and, you know, I'm going to go home to the woman I love, and
to the home y'all built.
Yeah, right. So life is good. So,
what about any more Raised Desire babies coming up that you got?
Yeah, so we got a Kelton Hot Checks on the ground, or yearling, I think. Yeah, it's a yearling. And I actually got another, is it a filly, a sister to preacher on the ground, and a mink out of her on the ground. So we might have some future there. Yeah. I'm pretty excited about them.
Yeah, to say the least.
Yeah, man. She's 20, so she's got, hopefully we get, got a couple more years out of her.
Right. Well, what's it like to have won on a mare like that and then come back all these years later and then have success on siblings?
Yeah.
And to me, at the same show, like that's something.
Yeah.
That's just unheard of. Like the brother, you win reserve in the world by a few $100s. And then the futurity. And I remember at the futurity, I told you after the first round, I'm like, Lee, there's something to that mare.
Yeah.
I don't even remember if you remember us talking about it, but.
Yeah. If I hadn't have been hauling, I probably would have put too much emphasis on the futurity and not done as good as I did at the futurity. But I think with the hauling and the steady going and obviously my horse sister being able to, be on the road helped her. But just the peace I had just showing my horses then, especially after that World Finals was over, it made it a lot easier. I didn't have a lot of pressure on the futurity.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to do good, but it wasn't like I was pressured up.
The journey that year was the hauling, and we put so much emphasis on that. And then when you're there, it is a lot during the futurity. Yeah,
it is a lot. So after the World Finals is over with, when it made showing her, I wouldn't say easy, but it felt like just a flow, and it was just, things just worked.
Well, and you were sharp.
Not to take away from her, she's very
smart, unbelievable.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Well, that's what I told you. First time I watched you show her at the futurity, I forget, what did you mark the first round? 16 and a half?
16 and a half, yeah.
And I just remember going, man, that there was a lot more good than bad. And I was like, that mare's so classy, smart looking. And then, man, it's just like y'all grew. Yeah. It was like, it was cool to see.
Was that in the first set? I was in the first set.
Yes, sir. I remember.
The first day, and I'm like, which would probably ended up working towards my advantage, because if I'd have had time to think about it too much and try to do too much to her,
overtuned.
Yeah, I'd have overdone. But yeah, no, she just got stronger each round.
So as a guy with a lot of success in the arena, especially at the futurity and stuff, what's your thoughts on training a futurity horse as far as having them ready to go when we get there?
I think what helps me the most is time. I don't feel like I got to be drilling my horse and training it every day, like hard training and okay, the futurity's coming up, but just that everyday consistency and just time on that horse, even if I'm not doing anything, to me, it helps me a lot.
Building a relationship.
Yeah,
really.
Just a relationship, and and just where I can get on my horse and go ride, and if I want to go work out, not having a big build up to it all the time. It's just a part of the day, and trying to approach it like that keeps me from pushing too hard.
Overdoing.
Just overdoing, yeah.
Which comes from when you're riding 40, 50 head a day, you can get in that conveyor belt of bring me another one, bring me another one. And so that's refreshing to hear that just make it part of the day.
Yeah. And that's, and like we cut, when we cut back, it's made everything, like my horse training, better just because of that, just because
you have time to think about it.
I have time to think about it and try a little this, try a little that, and come back and do it again if I need to, if I didn't put too much on my horse the first time, But training futurity horses, it's just the first show. don't ruin your horse for the first show. Build a horse. And Preacher really taught me that if I spent time building a horse that's got talent like he does, well, I may not win a bunch that 4-year-old year, but I got a whole career and a sound horse that's pretty incredible that can win a lot of money in a lot of places, So that's my philosophy there, or my thought process is changed because of that. Just, I want to be ready for the futurity and do everything I can do, but if I'm not, I want to keep building, especially if I've got a talented horse, and you can win a whole lot of money later on.
Which is that's a hard topic too, because a lot of our industry and customers put so much into that one show, and which brings a lot of pressure to the trainers, and we put a lot of pressure on ourselves also to do good there. But that is refreshing. So, like Preacher, did you not have much success on him as a 4-year-old? Or
I think I made the semis at futurity. I don't remember the super stakes. I think Sydney ended up showing him one time either the super stakes or Derby, and we ended up like third in the amateur. But where was we at?
Well, just you on Preacher as a 4-year-old,
he was. I tell you, he was fine, and he could have won a lot more money his 4-year-old year. But I was in such a place of building back,
rebuild.
Yeah, I was rebuilding and trying to figure some things
out.
Yeah, and I did not want to, number one, mess him up, and I sure didn't want to cripple him because I was doing stuff I didn't need to be doing to that horse. So I did a lot of coasting on him and just taking time and not hurrying, because I knew I wasn't where I needed to be in my horse training. And so yeah, I just took my time because he was just so good. I didn't want to mess him up,
Man, that boy, it worked out.
Yeah, I was so glad I still got him, Holly, so she's been exercising him, and she worked him 3 or 4 times, a couple of times on the flag, 3 times on the cow. I worked him once on the flag. And so, she just worked him and went and showed him the other night. And I'm like,
well, and he looked, I told him when you brought him in, I was like, it's cool to see, because I love the horse too. Yeah. Like I want a sound horse. I always try to make the decision for the horse. And I feel like we learned that from guys like you, because that horse is sound. Yeah. And he is, the other night, the expression and getting to turn back for a horse like that, like we were talking about it with Billy Wolf, and I've got the pleasure to turn back for Austin and Kitnish a bunch. And that feeling when you're in front of that good a horse and they take over the moment. Yeah. Yeah. It's just a feeling that's hard to describe. Yeah. And Holly's face said it all on that last cow. Like, you can just smile and relax because it's over with. This calf ain't going nowhere. Yeah. No matter what me and Clay do up here, we was just jumping around to hopefully getting a camera shot. I feel like that's what Clay was doing, What about that sacrifice? People trying to buy Preacher, and you and your family knowing y'all needed a horse for you to rebuild with. Yeah. And for that to be the horse, how special is that now to get the wins and the accolades that y'all done? Yeah. Yeah. So starting at the futurity, I could have sold him 10 times for 250, 300, and was like, and if it had been me, I'd be like, I'll take it. But Holly's because you needed the money.
Yeah. Yeah. We needed money, but, she didn't want to sell him, so we just hung on, and then Leslie's ended up seeing me show him at the Derby. I think it was in the Watt, and she come up and was wanting to buy him, and she offered me that 250. I was like, yeah, no, that ain't gonna work. But so she kept going. I said, well, there's gonna be a couple of things. I'm gonna have to keep him, plus you're going to have to pay this, and So she was like, okay. And, yeah, so it was
Sounds like we're going to be family, bud.
yeah, we're going to be tight for a while.
Go ahead and sign that transfer.
Yeah. But being able to keep that horse, because of that, because, number one, needing the money, but just needed
the horse more than anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Needed that, just to get back to, and it did. I mean, just the hauling him, that horse is what got me back or to this point,
Yes, sir.
I still feel like I got some, I still feel like I can do better. I feel like there's more there, that I can improve on. And, but I'm glad to be at this spot.
Well, that kind of sucks for us young guys to hear you with that big of fire still under you. But I'm here for it because it's awesome to see. And I think it only makes us better, and because I remember I had made up my mind I was going to haul my horse, and we were out at Oregon on that fall run the year before.
Yeah.
And y'all come pulling in and shoot, it was all of us from out here that were in the farm. Me, you, Matt, Clay Carter.
Yeah.
And anyway, I just remember whenever we decided to haul, we come home and everybody's like, who's all hauling? And everybody's talking about it. I remember saying, man, Lee, you're going to have to watch this, Lee, because I helped him at Oregon. And it was, I saw such a change, like getting to help you there and your focus. And I could feel the rebuild there almost. And it was pretty neat. Like I spent a lot of time with Matt Gaines there and just, man, he's such a line about,
my goodness,
it's unbelievable how everything is thought out that he does. And then to see you come in and I've always followed you, so I wasn't ever that close to Matt. And then when I seen you come in, I could just see the fire in your eye, and I thought, this is going to be hell next year. And it was. It was. But it was also the best too, because it's so awesome to have somebody that's beating your tail, but also giving you advice to win, and you did help me win a lot, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, no, I love it, man. What we got to help each other there and talking about it. And then, like with Cass, me and Cass, we had made it a point to communicate, throughout the year, helping each other, because we was turning back for each other. And I think that made a lot of difference because then it opened the door to where we could just communicate, and then we was actually helping each other and not just being out there.
Being part of it,
yeah. So he's helping me win, I'm helping him win, and and stuff like that. I think it's that's what
it's all about.
That's what it's all about. I mean, everybody wants to win, but I mean, I don't want it if I don't do it right, the right way.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, just your mindset. I remember another story. We're out at Vegas when you won the WOW out there, and this is a cool horse.
Out there too. Yeah.
This is a cool horse training story to me because at the start of the week, I was winning everything, and
I was struggling.
You were struggling, and I remember one day you said, "I'm not going to show tomorrow." And you said it with such a peace. And I was like, why isn't Lee showing tomorrow? And you went and just worked your horse. You said, man, I just need to ride my horse and work him. And boy, when that WOW got there, wowie word is all I can say, because to me, that's a horseman. It's saying, you know what? I got to back off a little here. Yeah. Whatever you did, I don't even, actually, I do know what you did because I went and watched you work, but it wasn't like some big drastic change that you made. It was almost more of a mental, like, hey, we're all right.
Yeah.
We're going to come out here, take a deep breath. And
yeah, I was struggling, man. Them cows were just, I don't know. They were just, I just wasn't, I never felt like I could get to the right spot. They just, and when I did, I was getting beat, And so, yeah, just a kind of a refocus and just slow down and just dial in on that cow. Cause I think I was just, overdoing, and cows just getting me just because of that. And so, yeah, making that little adjustment and I'll be honest with you, I don't really know how I was feeling going into the finals, but that horse, even though I was struggling, I always felt like I had a chance.
I could do it.
Yeah,
yes,
I had
sir.
a chance to win something.
Yeah, absolutely. On that horse for sure. No matter where you're at, yeah, you got a chance. Even at the celebrity cut.
Yeah, right.
Man, that's awesome. So, do you have any favorite quotes or scriptures?
I really don't, man. I'm a pretty simple guy. I'm not superstitious, and I don't look at stuff and try to hold, which I should look at scripture and hold on to those and memorize them a lot better than what I do. But no, I really don't, man. I don't know. I don't have anything like that I just cling to, or.
Well, it's really just your walk. I mean, to me, like I always feel like you have something to say whenever you're asked, or every time I've asked you, there's always something that's hit home that maybe it was just something simple. And like you telling me at Blue Ridge one day, I was struggling there for a little bit, and you said, man, just go show him in that novice up there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I went up there and like mark a stupid score and win, and I'm like, well, this is stupid. And I'm like, but it totally, I'm like, then I got back to the trailer and Shy was like, well, let's break down why, why. And I'm like, well, probably because I didn't care. I went up there
exactly, and
it was just a train wreck. Whoever settled, and the cows are running to that left wall, and nobody's in there to help. And I just go show. Well, to me, man, just that was such a help to me. And it's something that I would have never done. You know what I'm saying? In my mind, I would have never done that without you saying something.
Yeah. Well, I remember like in 24, I didn't do that on my horse, and I regretted it because I think it would have every now and then. I think it would have helped me and my horse. Because like you said, you go in there, if he takes one wrong step, I'm gonna give him a little pull, but so you go in there, you're relaxed, and you enjoy your horse, and you're kind of waiting to see what he's gonna do. Well, he does everything right, and there, then you get in the other cut, and you got the pressure, so I want to mash, and end up taking myself out. I've done that a lot.
Well, and two, I took home a lot right before the finals of what you said from that last Blue Ridge show, and it was you were last. I if I remember this right, correct me, but the last time we showed before the World Finals, you were dead last, and we all had big runs. You're last. Me and Cass were all helping you. And I just remember it being a crazy tough set, and me and you talking about these cows, and I just remember you taking a deep breath and you going, you know what? Any of them fresh ones that are way up there, you said, I'm driving way up there. And he said, I'm just going to rely on this cow horse, and I'm going to plug him in, let him go to work. And you kicked our butts. And that was such a testament to me. Well, when I went home, I told my crew, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to poke this horse to a calf, and I'm going to enjoy the rest of this. Yeah. And boy, man, that horse just changed. But it's so funny how just your mental state can change that.
Yeah, one little change in your thought process they can have a big impact.
Absolutely. Especially on them great horses.
Yeah. Man, I thought you had some incredible runs at the finals. I remember watching, I forgot what round it was, but you cut 2 smoky cows. I'm like, damn, I wish I'd had them cows, but I was after you. But I hadn't, and honestly, I wasn't even looking at them. I was on the other side of the arena watching cows, and you cut those cows. I'm like, dang, I missed those 2 cows, but they were spectacular, and your horse was spot on too.
Well, thank you. That was probably my help playing RL. Even if it wasn't, they're going to take the. No, for sure it was them, because I can tell you, I that whole week, the first round, I remember cutting. I was last, and I cut 2 good cows, and then my third one we couldn't find, and I cut a fresh one, but it was average, and I forget. I got a check, but not a great one, but I had a chance to do good, and I thought, okay, the rest of this week's going to depend on what cattle we cut. Yeah. You know, I mean, it just is, because these other guys, if they cut good cows, they're going to win. Yeah. And that's what I thought was cool about all year is man, it was like, well, and not just us 3, Kara Brewer, Mike Wood, Tossed and Monty. I mean, all them guys could, if they cut the right cows, they're going to beat you. Yeah. Yeah. And show. Man, they show so good. Crazy. That's what impresses me at this level, and like, well, just competing with y'all. Like you and Cass, I talked to the most last year, you know, and God, just everybody shows so good. Yeah, yeah, and that's what impressed me too. One of the things when I was younger and just started coming to the aged events was how all the guys, you know, was willing to help. You know, if they see a young guy working and trying, they all in trying to help you. Yes, sir. You know. Well, when I started this, Corey Pounds took me in, let me live in his house. Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, I was just some ranch kid from back home that thought he kind of wanted to do this, and I mean, Corey literally opened the doors to his home, and we lived there for forever. And he's the one that taught me into getting the courage to ask Shy to marry me. And he told me, he said, "Listen, stupid, you better go ahead and marry this one." And honestly, that's probably some of the best advice I was ever given, because I was dumb enough then. I was about to ruin it all. Yeah. And then I've tried to ruin it several times since, but I'm getting better. I'm a work in progress. Yeah. Get a little longer in the tooth. Longer that tooth gets, the better you get. Yes, sir. I'm kind of like your horse preacher. I'm glad Cheyenne didn't turn me in for my futurity year. You know, she sees some potential. Oh, me too, man. With you. Well, man, I can't thank you enough for coming on, Lee. And I know that this story is going to reach a bunch of people, because you just got such a great testimony, and you're so approachable. And that's something I want to add to anybody out there. If you are lost or need help, ask. Yeah. There's so many people like Lee willing to help, but we got a guy sitting right here that'll help you. That's been there. He's been in the lows of the lows and the highs of the highs. And to me, I think that's pretty special that we have somebody we can call on that has that experience and the spiritual guidance too. That's what I think's impressive. Yeah. Well, you know, I just want to try to do what was done for me, you know, and what, you know, I've had so much help and, you know, and guidance, and I just want to return the favor and try to do my part, you know? Yes, sir. I love it. I love it, man. Well, thank you so much. Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Enjoyed it.